Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, going to take a look in the Soulforge, tell you what's good and bad in there. Going to show you a really cool no Mythic Journey team and a Underspire team too. But first up, let's take a look at this weekly glory troop, the Vigilant Shade. Sounds a bit suspicious to me. Gives magic +1 attack to an ally and barriers them, and if they're a Tauros, give them half their mana. The traits: allied Tauros gain 2 life, is immune to poison, disease, lycanthropy and deathmark, and gains bonus brown mana from brown gem matches. So nothing special about the trait, and spells nothing special either. It's like the fact that you have to be a Tauros to give half the mana is a bit annoying, because apart from this, yeah, it's not very good. 4 out of 10, and that's pushing for a 4 as well. Many troops say a lot better than that in the game, and 12 mana cost isn't exactly cheap either. But as ever, get it to a mythic level if you can spare the glory anyway. Always good to have another troop in your roster, ready to use if for whatever reason you can find a half decent use for it. Like I say, plenty of other troops that do a similar or better thing in the game. Anyway, someone came up to me the other day and they said, name a country without the letter R in it. I said, no way. Do you see? Yes. Anyway, onto the Soulforge, Reforge, or Forage, or whatever you do. But first up, let's take a look. A Bull Cleaver does damage to an enemy boosted by brown allies and Tauros allies. So basic damage with a boost, but don't get it from here. It's a new weapon. This is the Journey event weapon. Get it from the Journey shop. Much better to get it from there than spend your hard-earned diamonds here getting it. Yeah, and we'll look at the traits when we go to the Journey shop as well, because sometimes the traits can change how good a weapon is. Not traits, the upgrades. Because, yeah, that's a bit lame as it stands. Not much good for Journey either, because Journey you need to try and get an extra turn if you can. That makes all the difference to your score. And all these ones here, not going to go over all these because they're in my Soulforge extra video. There'll be a link to that in the description below. Next up we have Rage Reaver. What a weapon this is. Pretty much essential if you haven't got it. Depending upon what else is here, but it's an amazing weapon. Does splash damage to an enemy, then create 4 red gems boosted by Tauros allies. This is nuts because Ferocity uses red and is a Tauros, and that gives like mad boosts to the stats on Tauros troops on 4 matches. And this creates 4 matches for fun, as well as charges up those Ferocities and gives them loads of 4 matches. And this things go a bit nuts, and it's, yeah, amazing just with Ferocity alone. So virtually essential, I would say. Primal Axe does damage to an enemy boosted by Wild Plains allies, then create a mix of 6 green and red gems for each Wild Plains ally. Uses yellow and brown, creates green and red, so make sure you got at least a couple, 1 or 2 I would suggest, green and or red mana using Wild Plains allies in your team to make the most of that juicy mana. Doomed Maul deals heavy splash damage to an enemy based on your magic with a +4 per tempering level boost. Stun all red enemies, cleanse all red allies, and explode 4 gems if the enemy has a doom. Explode 3 more. So the last part of that, if the enemy has a doom, won't come into play very often at all. But the main part of the spell is decent. Heavy splash damage is good. The tempering level can make it pretty effective. And stunning all red and cleansing all red is very good when you're in an all-red force team against an all-red team, when you know they're going to be all-red, because stun is very, very handy. Indeed, takes away all the traits of the team, of the affected troops. Staff of the Wild. Remove all brown gems. This is kind of the anti-Wild Plains weapon in a way. Then deal magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by gems removed. If the enemy is from Wild Plains, or if the battle is in Wild Plains, deal double damage. So not the sort of thing you use very often, if at all, if ever. But hey, it's another weapon and it's cheap to get. A mere 75 diamonds. And always good to add new weapons to your roster, because this can affect your power level kingdoms as you increase them. Horn Cleaver. Sounds a bit horny. Deals damage to an enemy boosted by Tauros allies, then create a mix of 6 green and brown gems for each Tauros ally. So similar to the other weapon, this uses blue and red, creates green and brown. Make sure a couple of those Tauros use green or brown Otherwise, you're creating all that mana for what? For a laugh? For a fun? Ah ha ha ha. Yes, exactly. And that's not the idea. The idea is to create mana to benefit your team. Wild Cleaver. Explodes, magic +1, green gems. I was trying to think of a joke, but I think I've said the same joke before, so I skipped it. Grant a random status effect to all wild plains allies. Then summon a wild plains troop. Nice explodey summony weapon there. Do like them, you know all about them. Explosions, mana gen, status effects, summon. Very, very good. Wand of Stars as ever, get it if you haven't got it already. Amazing, amazing. Or weapon, the choice of Bless or Curse with stacks of mana gen most of the time make it pretty much essential. And kind of a default weapon a lot of people just go to get things done quickly when they don't have to think too much about the battles. Very handy indeed. And what else we got? We have Stormguard's Hammer. Choose one. Create 8 blue lightning gems and deal magic +3 splash damage to an enemy, or create 8 yellow gems and deal the same amount of splash damage to an enemy. So, never really looked at this weapon before, but actually looking at that there sounds alright. Especially if there's a lot of blue or yellow on the board already. That could be really effective. Might have to have a look into that later on. Doomed Spade. Deals magic-based damage to the first 2 enemies with a +2 per tempering level boost. Then create 2 brown gems for each brown ally and enemy. If the enemy has a doom, gain a random status effect. This is another one of those really cool weapons. It's a bit like the red thing earlier where I said if you're an all-red forced all-red team or just using an all-red team against an all-red enemy, this is, you know, that's really effective. This is really effective but for brown. This, if you're up against a lot of brown troops or a brown team, and you can make all your team brown as well, this creates just a crazy loop, almost endless. If you're not frozen, you will just literally just loop and loop and loop, because it just fills itself back up again and does it again non-stop. Absolutely amazing, amazing weapon. Stone Splitter. Well, that's an axe. A hammer could be a stone splitter. And that would be a stone crusher, wouldn't it? Because a hammer normally tends to crush things rather than splitter them, where the axe, being a bladed weapon, would cause a split rather than a crush. I do think of things too literally sometimes. Anyway, it does damage to an enemy boosted by red allies and Taurus allies, and that is your lot with that. Nothing too special, Gov. And that is it. So yeah, a few really good weapons there. It's going to be expensive months just on the weapons alone. Rage Reaver's really good. All the stars obviously still there all the time. There's some good ones down here as well, like the Doom Spade. So yeah, some really good weapons here today. Let's hope there's no expensive mythics, otherwise it's going to be an expensive one for a lot of people. But let's take a little look at these summoning stones first, see if there's anybody there that a new player should try and get straight away. And there you go, straight away, String Fiddler. Not just a goblin, but one of the best goblins in the game. Silences an enemy, explodes, magic-based amount of gems of one of their mana colours and gains an extra turn. Silence is really powerful. You stop the enemy from gaining mana and casting spells. It also creates a Leaf Storm at the start of battle, which it uses green. That's what Leaf Storm is, more green than any other colour, and can be just ridiculously effective. Can silence an enemy, shut them up, they can't collect mana, they can't make spells, cast spells, create spells, do anything with spells, and explode gems, charge them up again, get the extra turn. This is one of the essential troops in the typical sort of goblin loopy teams you see. So yeah, String Fiddler, absolutely amazing. And nobody particularly great there. Angry Mob is really good though, very good indeed. And nobody, well, we've got a empowered troop there, starts battles with full mana, pretty decent. Scurvy Sea Dog, transform all green to blue and give gold. And we've got an old Vaca, the old Vaca's there. It gives magic +1 to a random skill on an ally and repeat a second time, then summon a Drifting Sands troop. Nothing amazing, but I'd like to joke about his name because he's just an old Vaca. So if you want the Vaca's there. I mean, look at the Vaca. He's old, but the Vaca's there if you want him. So if you need it, get the Vaca. Do you see? Spirit Fox, another empowered troop. Starts battles with full mana. Drains 7 mana from an enemy. You can do that straight away, stopping an empowered troop from casting themselves. And remove all yellow gems, then deal magic-based true damage boosted by gems removed. So more like a Guild Wars counter when you're playing attack team than anything. Stop those empowered teams that can have a lucky start from wreaking havoc absolutely straight away. And nobody too unbelievable there. But let's take a look at the mythics now and start at the bottom and work our way up. Who have we got first? Well, first of all, we got the Dragon on Rotation, the more expensive one, the one that costs more Dragonite than normal, but it's a guaranteed craft. So Meteordon, this is a Cosmic Dragon. If you're on the road to crafting Stellarix, this is the last one you need. It guarantees you get Meteordon. It stops that frustration of opening those dragon eggs and getting another duplicate. I mean, you can get lucky and get it straight away, but you can get frustrated and spend tons of Dragonite getting just more and more duplicates. If it was me, I'd rather spend the extra Dragonite for a guaranteed result, but each to their own. But it's there if you need it. And first Mythic, the Sparkinator. Wish this one was a bit better. It's kind of based on the Terminator. He'll be back. And it's called the Sparkinator, not the Terminator, obviously, and it's a robotic-y thing. But it just steals Magic plus 1 armor from all enemies and creates 10 bomb gems and explodes a random gem. And the traits are pretty rubbish too. So it's like, yeah, nothing good about that really. Poisea, really good troop, love this one. Destroy all green gems, then create blue gems equal to the number of green gems destroyed. So there'll be blue on there anyway, but if there's a decent amount of blue, you can create the same amount of green again once you destroy them green gems. And there are two independent 30% chances to devour a random enemy. So that's like, that's not, it's so good when it works. It can just rip through teams so quickly, it is insane. And give 4 attack to all blue allies when matching blue gems. Remember, you're going to do that, destroy all green gems, then create a load of blue equal to the number of green destroyed, which means it can charge itself up, it can do those devours, it can be an absolute beast. No, it can be an absolute fish. But that doesn't sound as good, does it? But yeah, Poisea, pretty freaking awesome mythic. Oh, crikey, speaking of freaking awesome mythics, the Grey King, again, one of the best ones in the game. Destroys all gems of a chosen colour. All enemies of that colour take magic-based true damage, are mana drained, silenced, and frozen. Yes, you read that correctly. All the mana drained, silenced, can't collect mana, can't cast spells, and are frozen too, as well as true damage, as well as the fact it uses blue, purple and brown. So if you do that on blue, purple or brown, you're going to charge yourself up again and do it again, because you destroy the gems with full effect. Absolutely nuts. So if you're against a team that's just by fluke or by just forced restrictions using all blue or purple or brown, or any colour really, it's just better if it uses the same colour that he uses, because the way it can self-charge again, then you can just stop them in their tracks. Apart from skull hits, you can just silence them all straight away if they're all using the same colour. It's absolutely amazing, amazing troop. And all undead allies gain 2 armour and magic when matching 4 or more gems. So the trait's nothing too amazing, but the spell itself is rather awesome. So that with Poisea is, yeah, fantastic. Oh goodness gracious, what a Soulforge this is today. What the heck? Absolutely amazing. Another fantastic troop. I mean, I don't use it very much anymore because it's one of the troops that you can use for the underworld if you like. I never did really use it for the underworld either, but it's still an amazing troop. Deals damage to an enemy with a chance to devour them equal to my attack and gain an extra turn. So literally just a chance to just kill people. If you can get your attack raised up, even if you're a newer player, there's plenty of troops which increase your attack, and obviously you can put medals on to increase the attack as well. Then you increase that chance of getting the devour. But yeah, absolutely fantastic troop. And the reason why it's so good in the underworld is because you get horde level in the underworld, where you get bonuses to your stats based on your horde level, and your stats and your attack will go up based on that. And it's pretty easy to get it above 100 in the end, which basically means a guaranteed devour when you cast it, which is really cool. I'll say guaranteed, but some enemies are obviously immune to devour, so you have to be careful of that. But apart from that, an absolutely amazing troop. So yeah, some flippin' heck, some amazing mythics there today. And let's go over the legendaries quick. Let's take a quick look. Jarl Fire Mantle creates 9 red and 9 yellow gems, then deals magic-based damage to an enemy. So it uses red itself, so it can self-charge and do it again. And then we have Dullahan. He's a bit of a weird one. Does damage to an enemy, boosted by ally and enemy deaths, then kills either the first enemy or first ally. What the fudge? That's a nutter. Absolute nutter. Essentia. Crikey. This is borderline essential as well if you haven't got it, because all dragon allies start with 50% mana. If you've got Diamantina, Stellarix, Chrysantherax, and haven't got this, that'd be a bit weird, because if you're at that level in the game, you certainly should have this. But even if you've just got some nice dragons, and you like using dragons, and you still haven't got this, and you're a newer player, this 50% mana start is a bit of a game changer for your dragon teams, and you get it for that, really, that Dragon Seer. But the spell, summon 1 to 3 dragon spirits. If there was already a dragon spirit in my team, explode 10 gems. So this, yeah, the spell is nothing special, but that third trait really is. So Essentia, absolutely awesome as well. And who else have we got? Haunted Doll, pretty cool troop. Explodes magic +1 purple gems, then heal to full and inflicts terror on all enemies. Nothing too special about the traits, but I actually quite like this spell. I mean, if that inflicts terror said inflicts death mark on all enemies, people would think that was pretty amazing, I think. But it doesn't. It says terror, but it's not a million miles away. When you inflict terror on all enemies, the last enemy, they can run away in terror, which is the same as being killed immediately, like a bit like a death mark, and then the next troop that's at the bottom can do the same thing. And you can also jumble up the enemy team, so it's not quite as good as death mark, but it's not a million miles away, and that's what makes her pretty good, I think. So yeah, really cool set of troops here today. Was that the last one? 1, 2, 3, 4, yes. So yeah, but who gets my mythic of the week? Crikey, well, there's seriously 3 out of 4 essential mythics this week. Hiking Iron Gut, the Grey King, and Pycea are all absolutely fantastic mythics. So considering what we got from the weapons as well, this is a really expensive Soulforge, so I hope people have got a lot of diamond spare. But Pycea is essential if you want fun and the chance to just devour, because this is really good even if you're a newer player, because it's not based on magic. The power output, how much damage it does, isn't based on magic, which is what high players rely on to get those massive boosts. This is good if you're even a newer player, and you can do this to the highest level players in the game and gain their stats, because when you devour a random enemy, you destroy another troop and adds their attack, armor and life to your own, as it says there. But Grey King, really cool, just because of the way that spell works. It's just absolute filth and absolutely amazing. And Hiking Iron Gut is still absolutely awesome if you're doing the underworld, but it's not as awesome as it used to be, I don't think. I showed ways in my Underworld Annihilated series how you could do, I think it was over 3/4 of the Underworld with just like Tesla teams or something like that. It was a very high percentage anyway, but yeah, but still really good and a lot of fun when you go around devouring people. So who gets my mythic of the week? It's going to be Pycea the Grey King or Hiking Iron Gut, but you kind of have to give it to Hiking Iron Gut just because it's so usable in so many different situations as well, and can be a bit of a nightmare in Guild Wars as well if you've got a high attack. So Hiking Iron Gut gets my mythic of the week. And now on to the Journey team. Now you must use the event captain Hornbreaker in your team for this event, and if you do, you'll gain ×2 magic, and the trait gives ×2 to ×3 score, which is how you get the extra miles. So really essential to include Hornbreaker in your team, and you get that from the shop. Then you just grab whatever tiers you require, but tier 1, 2 and 3 I'd say absolutely essential, because you get tier 1, you get the potion of enchantment, enchanting all allies at the start of battle. That makes everything that much quicker when getting charged at the start. Tier 2, you get the potion of explosion as well. Explodes 4 gems at the start of battle, so you combine that with the potion of enchantment, your team can get going really quickly, and you get some event sigils and journey troops and more as well. But at tier 3, you get the potion of rejuvenation as well as the weapon. Nothing special about the upgrade, so it's not like going to make a difference for this particular event, but you get it anyway, and it's another weapon, so all is good. So I'll definitely say tier 1, 2 and 3 absolutely essential, then any other tiers that you fancy. But to get your Hornbreaker to mythic level, there's 2 ways to do it. You can either pick it up at tier 2, there, then back out and apply some Orbs of Ascension to get it to Mythic level that way, or simply buy enough tiers. It will cost you some gems, but you get to tier 6 and you'll have enough to get it to Mythic level that way. But that's what you do first. Right, so let's take a look at the team, and honestly, this is possibly the worst selection of troops we have ever had in any Journey event ever. I mean, devs, seriously, you create an event that's tricky enough anyway because you nerfed all the decent troops, and then you go and give us a restriction where we got literally this to pick from. It's absolutely diabolical. I mean, it's really 9 troops to pick from. I've got all the troops in the game on this. If I go to unowned on this restriction, there's like nothing. So I've got this is it. And that one's forced not upon us, the Hornbreaker. So that's really only 9 available troops. And that's it. And this one came today. This is one we picked up earlier from the Glory Shop. So there was only 8 technically available troops to pick from. And, oh, God, it's absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, let's crack on with it and see if we can polish this turd. It's still a bit of a turd, but we'll polish it as best we can. And with Journey, the idea is you loop as much as possible. If you complete the battle in 10 turns or less, 1 turn is your go, including all extra turns, then the enemy's go, including all extra turns. That's 1 complete round. That comes back and that is the complete turn. So if you can win the battle in 10 turns or less, you are going to pick up the maximum miles. So looping, getting mana, and just getting the job done as quickly as possible is essential for this. And the Doomed Weapon, this Doomed Spade, is absolutely fantastic for these kind of events. This deals damage to the first 2 enemies with a +2 per champion level boost, then creates 2 brown gems for each brown ally and enemy. If the enemy has a Doom, gain a random status effect. So this is going to create mana for fun when there's some brown using enemies as well, because we're using brown ourselves, so we get the maximum amount from that. But when the enemy is using 1, 2 or more brown enemies as well, this normally will loop on itself unbelievably well, and you just keep on doing it until the enemy's dead, and it's very straightforward. So we can absolutely roll with that. We can start with, oops, wrong button, Geomancer class, all constructs start with 50% mana. So we've got that 50% mana start. We've got a reduced damage from scars by 50%. We gain 1 life for each brown ally, which is the whole team. We can impact, inflict stun when enemies deal skull damage to me. Second challenge tree was irrelevant. Anti-magic sphere is useful, reduce damage from spells by 50%. A tactician, gain 3 magic at the start of battle, even more damage. Rock solid, gain a barrier when matching brown gems. We'll be doing that all the time. Stone mastery, gain bonus brown from brown gem matches. We need brown a lot, so that's cool. And fortitude is always handy as well, so you can see why this is a good weapon for this. Hornbreaker. We'll have Hornbreaker in the team, we have to anyway, but does damage to an enemy, then creates 2 brown gems boosted by Tauros ally. 3 Tauros here, but Geomancer isn't a Tauros, but it doesn't matter because basically this is going to be the thing that's looping non-stop on its own, basically. We don't really need that. This can be there if we get desperate, but this would be the one which we use pretty much non-stop. We can have Gorgon here. Don't really care about the stone skin. The fast is, again, important though. Start battles with 50% mana. Explodes a row, getting mana for the team, which is important. Does splash damage to the first enemy, knocks them to the back. Explode a row, pretty cool, because when you explode a row, you explode the middle one that you've selected and the row above it and below it. So you shouldn't just do this randomly. You can still see if you can create a 4-match or 3-match extra mana match cascade when you explode that row. So I'll explain that when we come to it. And we'll even include the troop we got today out of sheer desperation, just because mainly it gives bonus mana from brown gem matches. And it does give attack to an ally and barrier them as well, so we can give that to one of our other teams if they haven't already got a barrier. Regarding the banner, we'll have a gate banner. Hell Gate, +2 brown, +1 red, -1 yellow. But regarding the weapon, there are plenty of choices in brown. You can obviously go good old black manacles, damage to all, chance to devour if you get lucky. You could have the Ruby Macaque, another good one. Lots of damage and quick damage as well. You can have a Mountain Crusher. Let's speed these things up a little bit. That's a good one. Just exploding brown gems, getting mana for the team really, really quickly. And like I say, you can have the ruby macaque as well. Nice choice there. True damage to all enemies and exploding gems, getting mana quickly. But let's see how this one goes. We'll jump in. And same as ever, when things get tricky, change to Elementalist class. But when you change to Elementalist class, make sure you include the talent tree for a Dust Storm, because that is going to really help the team. But as you can see, we're nearly ready to go already. And there's a brown enemy here, which means we are going to get the extra mana. And it will loop. There you go. So the first stages are going to be super straightforward. Right, let's just do this one, then we'll jump forward a bit, because this is super straightforward, and we'll show how to use this team when things get a little bit trickier. We still want brown if we can. If you can't do that, then you look for an extra turn. Anyway, we can cause things like this into a format, which we cannot. So I'm not even going to bother with that. I'm going to take this and hope that a brown match comes down there or something like that. And it did. You got to be in it to win it. People will say that was lucky, but it's only a 7-to-1 chance. And when it happens, it's all happy days. Right, too easy. Let's jump forward a bit. Well, I've jumped forward a little bit to where things get a little bit trickier. It's still been fairly straightforward, apart from one really weird battle I had a few games ago where the game literally acted like brown and red didn't exist. So even when I cast this, they didn't have a chance to loop on themselves because there was no brown on the board hardly. Like literally like 3. It was like, how? But anyway, it happened. I lost 1 mile. But I want to explain a couple of things about this team as we go along. Some more slightly advanced strategy and things like that. So we've got the weapon here, and I did explain earlier how the ruby macaque is not a bad choice for this. But I've already come across several submerged opponents when doing this video, which the ruby macaque's damage will miss, because damage to all will miss submerged enemies. I mean, you can still use the Hornbreaker to bash those submerged enemies, so not all bad, but certainly something to consider. Another thing as well is, I'm still in Geomancer class for this. Nice 50% mana start. The quicker you get going with this, quicker we can cast the weapon. And this team is pretty much all about the weapon in a way. If the weapon gets going, that's what we're going to be casting again and again and again. If you've got brown enemies on the board like we have here, then the boost is going to be really good. The boost is a plus 12. And even if there's no brown enemies, it's still going to be a better cast than the weapon. Even if you're in Shaman class, I'd still rather be casting this. So it's literally all about the weapon. The only way I would cast this is if, for example, the weapon was ready to cast, but there was hardly any brown on the board, for example. And then I can cast this, soften somebody up, cast it on somebody that's not using brown, because the more brown enemies that are on the board, the better it is for the weapon. And then if we get a loop with it, a 4-match on brown, happy days. If we don't, then we put more brown on the board, which means this has got a better chance of looping. I've got a chance to show that now, because there's only 8 gems there. So let's cast this on somebody that doesn't use brown. Kill them. It doesn't actually matter that we didn't get the loop, because there's 17 brown gems there now. When we cast this next round, chances are this absolutely will loop. And did. And because we left those brown enemies behind, we're still getting a really nice boost ratio. And we can now finish off. So let us cast this again. Let's bash down around the bonts. A little bit unlucky it didn't loop again. It's been a bit mean to me on this one so far, has to be said. Let's do that just for being annoying. Could have got some brown, but I'm well under 10 turns for this. Yeah. You do that. I'll do that. And this. And be gone, foul spawn. Right, let's do another one. Always do the highest miles if you can. What is that trying to come into my pub? Right, there's our explosion. There's our mana. So let's have a little look around, see if we can get any mini cascades. Got a purple storm. We've got a random storm that's changed to yellow now. So we want to get rid of that. So we want to get rid of her if we can. Yellow is not helpful to our team. So let's cast this first. There's only 9 brown there. Let's soften her up. Hopefully that's created more brown on the board. Still 9. Oh well. Let's get rid of her then. Stop that light storm in its tracks. Slightly more there. Did get going on itself. Because there's more brown there now, we can actually target somebody else. Put more brown on the board. Now there's 15. That's where it's super useful for creating more of the colour that we want, which helps the weapon to loop. Oh, good. That 1 mile is annoying me. It's not actually. It's just been a slight bugbear in the background. As it is when you feel ripped off by the game, like it was out to get you for that one particular round, completely plain sailing the whole time, then suddenly brown and red do not exist. It's like, literally, what the hell. Anyway, like now, brown is not very good again. There's only 7 there, and we can't even get the weapon up. We can get red by doing that, though. We can now create some more brown. Let's cast it on somebody that doesn't use brown. It's still on Holy St. Astra. Let's create some more brown. There's 13 there now. This has got a better chance of getting the loop going. A little bit bonus damage there. Happy days. Yeah, and this is now rocking and rolling quite swimmingly. And happy days. And we can use this to finish off. But there it is. That's the Journey team. Now on to the Underspire. Right, we have a Wild Plains restriction for this. We are restricted to Wild Plains troops. So again, not the best choice of troops in the world. But you can have a couple of decent mythics here. Well, decent. They're okay considering the company they're in right now. Ketrus the Bull, and not too shabby for this. And King Stormguard also pretty decent as well. And maybe even Torios, because they use red, which is pretty cool. And for this team, we create a lot of red. Going to be in Shaman class this time. Going to deal splash damage to an enemy with the weapon and then create 4 red gems boosted by Tauros allies. This is the whole team. That's an awful lot of red, which will feed into Mechatol and Red Reaver. Mechatol does splash damage to an enemy boosted by its armor. Then there are independent 30% chances to silence each affected enemy. Then Red Reaver is actually an old Pathfinder troop, dealing damage to an enemy, then create 2 red gems boosted by Tauros allies. So again, that's the whole team, and the idea is we created loads of red with this. There'd be red left over, which give this a decent chance of looping. And King Minos gives us a 50% start on mana, which we've got anyway, but also does some heavy splash damage, which is pretty nifty. So you can actually change King Minos out for whoever you like in the end. So the banner for this, let's check it out. What we got a Meteor banner that will do, although I kind of want to get the weapon up as fast as possible, so we'll go for, in fact, we'll do it the other way around. Let's go minus purple, because we don't use that, and see if we got any blue at the top. No, that's probably why I had that other weapon. What the fudge. In fact, I could still leave it there, can't I? Right, so actually that'll do just fine the other way around. But blue would have been better because of King Minos. But hey, let's just check our stuff quickly. Frosty gain for attack is good. Yeah, first place. Root Trap is nice. Blood and Glory, don't really want that. Don't want a Leaf Storm, but don't really want that either, which is why I got Blood and Glory. All troops gain a little bit of armor. Bloodthirsty, why not? And Bull General. Right, that is good. Let's jump in. I have a couple of punch-ups. You can go Medal of Anu on this as well to give yourself a 20% mana start, get things done just that a little bit quicker. But yeah, this does tons of damage. Look at all the red that's about to come. Absolutely nuts. And then just, yeah, finish off. Very, very straightforward in the early stages. Let's grab our free lantern from Matey Boy Chain Hat Face. Thank you, mate. Be on your way. Goodbye. And on to the next. Ancient Golem is in our way. So we grab ourselves some blue. Oh, they stole the blue. What next time? Thieving scumbags. I'll get it from here. Let's sort them out. Look at what I read. It's absolutely nuts, this weapon. Really, really good. If all your team's not up, you can collect some more, but we can do this splash damage and finish off. And who is next? Who is next? So yeah, when I saw Wild Plains for this, I thought, this is not going to be very good. Underspire, not very enjoyable, but it should be manageable. Not going to be super quick though. Rather take blue than red. But I want to get the weapon up if I can. So let's just do our splash damage. Always cast it on the second or third troop down if you can. To get the most of that splash damage. Affects the troop you put it on as well as the ones either side. Or adjacent. And we can finish off now with a little bit of damage. Get out of it. I think you can attack me and get away with it. Right, let's go up. A little bit of uppage. Let's just do a couple more battles. This one's pretty straightforward. Oh, that's a lot of rounds straight away. Happy days. Yes, great. Let's get rid of him because he's annoying. All that red, and there's our splash damage. And there's death to the enemy. So yeah, like I say, you can chuck in some of those mythic troops I mentioned earlier. You can even change King Minos for somebody else because we don't need that for that 50% mana start. All good. Little tip here, don't always get that sort of thing because you see it. We can get an extra turn by getting that at the same time, and that way we've got a brown at the same time, which has got the weapon up, which means we can get things done nice and fast. Let's give them a bit of glory, shall we? Them a bit of fun. Let them get involved in the action. Right, that'll do for that. That's enough of that. So there's a video. If you enjoyed it, it'd be really cool if you bashed that like and subscribe button. It really does help. But most of all, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.